Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to our March Coffee with the Mayor. This is a little loud. And once you have your donuts and coffee, please come join us. Our guest this morning needs truly no introduction. And I've not gotten to say that ever. So I'm going to introduce Barb Sondag before you all introduce yourselves, because you're going to have an assignment when you introduce yourselves. So Barb was raised in Valmeyer, Illinois, a small village in Metro East area. She attended the University of Illinois, and she began her career in public sector as the director of human resources at the Champaign County Regional Planning Commission. In 2003, I can't talk today. In 2003, okay, in 2003, she moved to Vermont and took a position as the assistant town manager for Brattleboro, did I say that right? Vermont, a population of 12,000. In 2007, she was promoted to a town manager, a position held until 2013 when she moved with her spouse, Catherine, and decided to move to St. Louis. She has been in the city, she's been our city manager of Olivet, Missouri since 2013. And Barb has 3 adult stepchildren and 5 grandchildren. And Barb is a cherished employee. And I think that I don't like calling her an employee because she's truly a colleague and a friend. And to all of those of us in the room that have worked with her, know what a blessing she's been to our community. So when you introduce yourself this morning, I'd like you to say if you have had a positive interaction with her, or Barb doesn't like all this fanfare, but if there's something you want to thank her for, take this opportunity to do so.
Jim Person. Wow. For feeling welcome and to be a part of city government and so forth.
David Goldie, and Barb is too young to retire.
Jimmy took my line. Wow. 10 years have gone by really fast. And wow, what have we gotten in 10 years? Thank you.
I'm Mandy Randall with the Oliver, and I'm meeting you for the first time, but I've heard great things, and this is our first coffee with the mayor, so I look forward to getting to know you better.
Sidney Clark. Well, thanks for tolerating the council. You worked well with us, but you also managed us well. So I just want to say thank you for being able to be part of the process. And job well done.
Larry Koenig, I see you managed to do the first rule of a good city manager. You never got the majority of the council mad at you at one time.
I'm Darren Mann, and I'm the finance director for the city. And a raisin box once told me that to be thankful for good teachers all your life. And that's what Barb has been to me for the last 9 years. So thank you.
Good morning. I'm Tanya Welch. I'm an accountant here for the city. And Barb, thank you for making it fun to come to work. I appreciate you.
Dave Barry, Deputy Chief of Police, and I kind of second what Tanya says. It's been a pleasure, Barb.
Ethan Gresky, Chief of Police, and Barb has been a tremendous boss, and we are going to miss her greatly. I'm not sure that anybody will be able to totally replace her, but we're sad to see her go.
I'm Rick Knox. I'm the retired police chief. And a city council. That you can call me Rick, you can call me chief, you can call me whatever. But when Barb calls me whatever. But what I remember, I wrote a letter to Barb when she first got hired, when she was still in Brattleboro. And I didn't realize it was going to turn into a love letter, but a love letter from me, but a love letter from all of our employees and all of our residents. When Barb arrived, she hit the ground running. She literally hit the ground running. She ran in the Special Olympics with the police department. I was pulling up the rear. No, I wasn't in a car. Oh, yeah, I was in a car. I was older, right? But I drank beer with Barb, so I trusted her. We my first date that I went on with Barb, I picked her up in a helicopter at Stacy Park. We flew all around St. Louis. But the thing that well, then we went into this physical fitness testing, and Barb jumped right in there, and she ran better and faster times than most of the policemen. Barb got tased. She won't do it again. I won't do it again. But she didn't whine either. Like there was a couple that whined a little bit. No, Darren didn't whine. There was another guy, the short guy. But it was a pleasure to work with Barb. Not only was she a boss, she was a true friend to all of us. If we had a problem, we could go to her. But she made things happen and all of that. She brought a breath of fresh air to all of that where it was missing for a long time. And I thank you. I wish you well. I wish you think of you every time you get that retirement check. It does come. Thanks, Darren. But I wish you all the best, Barb. And sometimes I get up in that neck of the woods, so you never know, I might show up at your door. Don't call the police.
I'm Beverly Tucker Knight, the Parks and Recreation Director, and I have to say that Barb is a champion. And the reason I say that is because she's a champion of ideas. When people have great ideas or want to try something unusual, she's not afraid. She champions it, gets it through the goal line. She's a champion of employees. She runs a tight ship, an honest ship, and keeps everybody on their toes, but with kindness. And she's a champion of residents and public policy. So when the city council has a meeting or a commission has a meeting, there are facts, she checks them, and she's a champion of information and having people participate in the public process. So I am so appreciative to have had you as a mentor and as a city manager. So good luck.
Brian Ascona, a park horticulturalist. And Barb is the only city manager I know since I've been here for a few years. But from my colleagues who've been here longer, I've heard stories of other city managers, and you definitely sound a lot better than your predecessors. So I
Keith Hawes, and I've had some personal interaction with Barb, and she took care of us as a family. I appreciate that, and we're sitting in alignment to her administration.
Hi, I'm Leslie Ricard. I'm a longtime resident of Olivet, and I want to say that Barb has always been a wonderful asset to residents as well as the people that she works with. I've had the opportunity to interact with her on issues that I've had, and she's always been very fair and easy to access. And I think as a city manager, I think that's really critical when you're a resident. So anyway, thanks, Barb, for all of your help.
Jan Fitzgerald, a longtime resident and president of Olivet and Bloom. I have to say that Barb has been a tremendous supporter of the organization, a model of not-for-profit and city government, which is unusual in some organizations. Also want to say that as a resident, I'm very proud of what you've done for our city. raised the bar, both from city administration as well as development. So congratulations.
Susan Waggy. Hi, Barb. I just want to say you've been accessible, kind, devoted, and also a little bit humble. So we appreciate all of the work that you've contributed. And like the gentleman over here said, we're sitting in one of your monuments. So thank you.
Vaughn Morrill, a 40-year resident of Olivet this year. And I haven't had a chance to come to many of these coffees, but Barb has always, she seems to know who I am, and she's friendly, respectful. So, wow. I mean, all right, there you are. Thank you for being here.
Kiana, Communications Manager, and I just want to thank Barb for allowing me to be an expert in my field. I've been here almost 4 years in a brand new position, and we've sort of worked together to build it up. And so I want to thank you for advocating for me and allowing people to trust me in my field.
I'm Denise Mandel and I'm the HR administrator. And there's so many words I could use that I can't even come up with them, but I just want to thank you, Barb. We started the same year and I have worked in local government for a long time. And I just want to thank you for making this the best job ever.
Hi, I'm Don LaChance. I'm the Assistant Director for the Parks and Rec Department. And Barb, thank you for everything, teaching me what I know, what I didn't know, and didn't think that I knew or needed to know. So thank you very much.
Hey, Barb. Congratulations on your retirement. You beat me. It was a joy working with you and good luck to you.
Thank you. So I didn't know, I know that Barb is humble. I know that Susan used that word and made me a little teary-eyed. I'm sure it did you too, but I hope it warmed your heart to hear all the accolades because you are going to be leaving a community that loves you and that you've really made a difference in. So as I was thinking about this morning, I was wondering when you arrived almost 10 years ago, what were your first impressions of Olivet? You were up at the small, very city hall. And I'd like you to share us, look back 10 years and share with us your first impression.
I think a couple of things. One of the first things that I noticed was the Olive Divide. And I think that even came up in the conversation about there seemed to be a vast difference between the north of Olive and south of Olive, and discussing with the council even during the interview process that the importance of how do you bridge that, and how do you work with that? How do you keep what is the best of Olivet while improving? You know, it's a struggle. I came at there's Carlos would know the tear downs had already started. But they were, and it was kind of a conversation we've had over the last 10 years about, how do you as government help manage that divide and ensure that the things, because people talk about all of it, they talk about, we love the diversity, we love the spectrum of continuum of housing stock, the diversity in the housing stock and various things. And it's still an issue that we're, so grappling with today. And that with the encourage everybody to get involved in the comprehensive plan that we're renewing, because I think that's going to be a big conversation. We are, we have been diverse, a diverse community of race,
ethnicities. And we're continuing to become, more diverse. There is an increase in that. And how do we kind of ensure that that's, that we recognize that and that we see it in our government and we see it, wherever we go, as opposed to just thinking about it. But I think that was kind of the first, one of the more remarkable things that I saw. But then I also saw one of the reasons that I really liked, when you're looking for a job as a city manager, you want to kind of look at the sustainability of the city and make sure it's a good fit. And one of the things that Olivet has that I don't think is also recognized by a lot of people is the diversity in the light industrial in our economic kind of foundation. You have light industrial, you have the industrial parks that align that northern border, you go all the way across, and that they're at almost 97% occupied. Not always the highest and best use, but that's something that we're working on now and looking to figure out how do we get the highest and best use of those. But I think, so you have that, you have the retail along Olive, and then you have what we're primarily are, which is a residential community. And I think it's unique here to see in the 2.6 square miles to see all of that activity. And really that is, it makes this community sustainable from a financial basis as well.
So over these almost 10 years, you've had a lot of accomplishments and you've seen a lot of growth in the city. And I'd like for you just to kind of share some of the accomplishments and the goals that you set for yourself, and you achieved a lot of them. I mean, in the council, we work together hand in hand for these goals, but if you could share some of the accomplishments with us, that'd be great.
One of the things I recognize about the city, and this kind of leads into to accomplishments, was that you have, when I interviewed and up till today, you have a city council that that can disagree, but not be disagreeable. They can have discussions and they can disagree with one another, but then end of the meeting, they're talking to each other like friends. And I think that's really important, because if you have a council that where there are different where there's these internal struggles or personality struggles, it really impacts the whole organization. And so that's one of the things I also liked about, I'll never forget, I interviewed at another city around here, and one of the things that they said is, we don't get along with each other. And it was like, ooh, okay, well, that's not a good thing. So that's something that the city has. And because of that, you get a staff, you get good direction, and that because even if they don't necessarily agree with one another, if they have agreed on something, if they have a goal that they've set, even though it may not be the priority for everyone, that they're going to back that goal. And so that allows you to move forward and talk with my staff, with the department heads, and to establish plans for achieving that goal, knowing that it's not going to change all of a sudden, knowing that when so it really helps to be, to have those set goals. And when I started here, the council was clear that they wanted to see redevelopment within their commercial properties. And so having that as a clear goal is extremely helpful for achieving that, because we can all agree on the goal, and as long as we keep that goal in mind, how we get there, because there'll always be people who don't agree on the path you're taking to get there. But if you can kind of keep coming back to that goal, you can continue to work towards achievement of it. And maybe you have some false starts and stops, right? Because you realize, oop, this isn't the way to get to that goal. This isn't the path we want to take. We're going to change it. But you have a commitment to that. And so that really allows staff to give direction to the folks that really that are really doing the work. I'm a generalist. I don't have any specific, skill, any knowledge, specialized knowledge in any one area. But I have people around me that do. And so when you talk about my accomplishments, the only real accomplishment I can actually say is that I have had the very good luck in hiring very good people. That's my accomplishment. Everything else we've done as a team. Everything else, anybody comes here and says, oh, well, I did that. It's, this building is because residents voted for it. Residents said, yes, we want to up our image. We want our employees to be in a modern facility. We want to have good services. We're unable to do that in the very small building that we came from. So that accomplishment is on all of us. The same is true and will be true of the new community center and the other infrastructure improvements. But I think that so the accomplishment is having an extraordinary finance director who can look ahead and who can think about, how do we invest some of these funds to get more funds? How do we save so that we can ensure that we're able to do a fire truck? You have a good, the police chief and the fire chief, you have a phenomenal planning and community development director in Carlos Trejo. And Carlos and Bruce McGregor, the Public Works, they were here when I started. But then I realized these are amazing people who have incredible skills, but they need to be told to just use them, just do it. and they did. You trust the people to do the good work. You have, our Parks and Rec director. We had to steal her from California, but she came and she brings, new ideas and different ideas. And it takes a while sometimes for everybody, I can honestly say, I'm very happy to say that I'm leaving before the goats arrive. Because I know people will complain about that. But those are great ideas and those are great things. So I think my accomplishment, the goats are to rid the city of honeysuckle. It is not a joke. Beverly has had them at her own home. It's pretty amazing. They get a herd of goats and you pay to have this done. And they go in an area and they clean it out, and then it works extraordinarily well, and no chemicals, no. Honeysuckle is also known as landscaping to some. Is in a lot of our parks, and the weed warriors have done a lot of work in eradicating a lot of the honeysuckle, and Beverly has had goats in the budget now for years. Yeah. No. So anyway, I think, so those are the accomplishments. I think we all have a lot to be proud of in the work that's occurred over the last 10 years. I also think, if the stage was set for that, so you can't you know, there wasn't a blank page when I came. Was work that had been done, and you have to thank the people that came before me, that set the stage. Because, you know, and I think that the person who comes after me, you know, they too they have a new stage, and they'll be able to take us even further.
So as you get ready to move to Maine to be with your grandchildren, not your children, but your grandchildren. We all know that when we had children, our parents didn't care about us anymore. It was our children. That what kind of lessons learned can you share with us, or advice maybe for the incoming person, or that you're walking away with, or that you would share with the city?
Well, I don't think it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's either, my sister would call it a God wink, that I have 5 council members and I'm going to 5 grandchildren. I think I'm prepared for that job now. Just teasing. No, I'm not. I think that anybody come in, you know, don't mess with the staff. Yeah, just don't mess with the people that are here. You got good people, let them do their work. Keep them in line, periodically. You know, periodically you have to say, what are you thinking then? But, you know, that's really, have a sense of humor. Have a sense of humor. Don't take yourself too seriously. You're going to make people make mistakes. And if you do those little things right, you know, those day-to-day things right, when you make the mistake, people will typically forgive you. I think there's a lot of forgiveness in the city. You're going to make people mad. They're going to do things that people don't agree with. And, you know, and that's kind of hard sometimes, but that's also going to be the way it is. But, you know, I think that, I think it's really important that whoever comes in next is, you know, is both, you know, driven and has, you know, you're going to hire the person that has the experience and the expertise. And, you know, so that what they really, I hope for is that they have a sense of humor, and the ability to kind of, to get along with one another. I think that some of the growth in the city as a business over the last, you know, 10 years has been in our in the change of culture, in that we're much more open and talking with people. I think that in my job, sometimes the hardest decision is, when do you go public with something? When do you make something? When do you announce something? Or because it's not you know, you spend a lot of time with ideas and with people, and but it doesn't, and a lot of those don't ever come to fruition or to light. And so sometimes it's hard to know kind of when do you make something public? When do you get that? I mean, one of my first mistakes here was I was probably premature in trying to get public input into something. And people saw, you know, it was with the ice rinks, the idea of the ice rinks in Warson Park. And my thought was, let's just have a public meeting. We'll get people's opinion on it. And I think that was a change for people, because they came and they said, well, this is a done deal. And there was a lot of, you know, angst about that. And it was like, no, it really isn't a done deal. And we get your feelings, and it didn't happen, you know. And so I tell this here because it's, I think over the past years, I think we have learned, we've all learned as a community, and how we need to communicate with one another? When do we share information? When is the appropriate time for the residents to come back in and give us guidance? You know, and I feel like trust the process, trust the residents, trust the voters. Those are really important things for that next person, because, you know, trust your staff to do a good job because you've got good staff. Trust the residents to vote, and trust how they vote, trust what they're saying, and trust the council. And more importantly, trust the processes that we have. Because I think just recently, last year, we've been talking a lot about marijuana and all of that. And then we've, you know, we had the biggest crowds, some of the biggest crowds that we've had. And I really, you know, came first with the cultivation. And there was, you know, I always think there was nothing that I had, no information I had that would have made me think people were going to be so against that. But then people showed up and they were against it. And the council, you know, they ended up not moving forward with that. And that's the way the process is supposed to work. That's the way, you know, it feels like it feels uncomfortable. But, you know, I think that, you know, to me, Carlos and I talked about that a lot afterwards. It's like, that was the process. You know, I'm proud of how that happened. I'm proud. But, you know, it doesn't mean that it was easy, and it doesn't mean that it felt good all the time. But it means that's the beauty of local government. That's the beauty of local government. You get to come in here and you really get to say what you're thinking. And so I'm babbling now, so I'll just hand it back over.
So before we wrap up today, I would like to ask if anyone do a Q&A, if anyone has any questions that I didn't cover with Barb. And Bev, do you have something for me in the back? Can you grab it for me, please? And then I have a little something for you. So are there any questions or? Oh, we have it right here. She already got it. So these flowers, here, I'll move it. See? There's a story that goes with these flowers. They're to for her office over the next few weeks while she's winding down and packing up. And well, the truth is she's working to the very end because we have a lot of work to do. And that last day on April 3rd when you're packing up. But the story is that these flowers, Bev had to put her hard hat on yesterday. And these flowers are from outside her window of the old community center. And next year at this time, there won't be these beautiful flowers there because hopefully we'll have more of a residential park area for the children. And we've got Olivet and Bloom representatives here today, so we'll have flowers in new places, but these are flowers right outside of the old community center. And we hope they'll beautify your office and that they're just, you know, will brighten your days in these weeks ahead and just add some sunshine to this dreary day, but just a token of appreciation to warm your heart and just let you know that you're so well loved in this community. So. Are there any other questions or memories that I've left out? Okay, well, please stay and visit with Barb and take a chance to introduce yourselves if I haven't met you. And our next one is going to be a little different. On April 18th, it's a Tuesday evening. Instead of coffee with the mayor in April, because it's right smack in the middle of Passover and Easter week, we are going to be meeting at Old Bonham School at 6:30 to 7:30. The Dew School District is opening a pre-K pilot program at Old Bonham School and at Spady School. So I'll be meeting with the early childhood director and the superintendent at Old Bonham, and we're doing it at 6:30 at night so that parents or potential parents can come and learn about the importance of early childhood. And if your child's in an early childhood program, why it would be important to start at pre-K at the school that they'll be attending for kindergarten through fourth grade. So that's it on the April 18th. Our comprehensive plan, last month, Dawn Doty, and there you are, and Beth Quidry were both here to talk about the comprehensive plan. And if you go to olivetcomplan.com, there is a survey to fill out. And already this morning, like one resident was asking me some questions about it, about a situation. And I said, that's a perfect place for those comments, because all of these comments are being taken into consideration and will be weighed in. And this coming week, the PCDC and the city council will be meeting together as a joint meeting as we gear up to start having some opportunities for the community to come in and share their opinions and have opportunity for us to hear your voices. And then Puzzle Palooza. If you weren't a part of the first one, you might want to be a part of the second. It was such a big success that we're back at it again. And I don't know if the date's on here. Yes, April 1st, Friday, April 1st from 6 to 8. And to register, you go to, oh, it says Friday. Okay, Saturday, April 1st. Thank you. And you go to the parksandrec.com, olivetparksandrec.com to sign up. You need teams of 5 and you'll be assembling, I thought, a 1,000-piece puzzle or 500? 500-piece puzzle. It's a competition and it was a lot of fun. We're having a star party and these are always amazing what you can see. It's Stacy Park on Saturday, April 29th. The St. Louis Astronomical Society comes and they do an evening of stargazing and it's phenomenal. And that will be from 8 to 10 on that Saturday night. And Camp O, which is our Olivet Day Camp for Children, registration is open. And this year we'll be using Hillcrest School, which is at the corner of Grandview and Warson. Any of these opportunities, if you have questions, you can call up here, you can call Beverly Tucker Knight for the parks ones, or just call the front desk and you'll get Rose, who is not going to retire forever. Because now that she said that Barb's retiring before her. So are there any other questions or comments for this morning? So Barb, we're just enjoying having you here for the next month. And we're trying to pull all loose ends together and you're going to be very missed.
I want to thank everyone for the kind words this morning. It was very nice, and I know that it does mean a lot, and I really greatly appreciate it. This has been a really great place to be. It was really nice to be here.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.